this is your Tita in China, and today we're going to make a follow-up on what seems to be the most popular video on this channel today, and that is how to get a visa for Filipinos. It's been a year since I posted that video, and I have been able to get a significant number of FAQs, and today I'm going to make a follow-up video so that you will be able to know more about how to get a visa for Filipinos under certain circumstances. By far, the most frequently asked question is if I'm a freelancer, if wala akong work, how am I going to apply for a Chinese visa? Or for example, if I have savings but I don't have work anymore now, I just recently resigned, paano ko kukuha ng visa? And the answer to that is very simple. You still need to submit your bank documents, but you're going to have to write a letter to the embassy stating why you can't submit your ITR and your employment documents. And if you're a freelancer, it will also help very much if you can show some sort of payslip or contract or some sort of proof that you have this kind of job. Okay, disclaimer, this is still not an assurance that you're going to get a visa, but this is what a lot of my freelancer friends have done, and they have been able to successfully get a visa themselves. The second most frequently asked question is if I have a Chinese fiance or if a Chinese boyfriend, what visa should I apply for? First of all, there's no fiance visa in China. You either go in for work or like a family visa, or most likely you're going to get a tourist visa. Even if you're going to get married in China, the first visa that you're going to get to enter China to get married is still a tourist visa. The easy answer to that is you're going to get your Chinese partner to submit his or her documents and also the identification documents that I specified in my previous video. The next thing I'm going to talk about is being an au pair in China. If you don't know what an au pair is, basically you're going to stay with a host family, you're going to help around the house, form some sort of cultural exchange while you share the culture of your country. To your host family, and also learn about the culture of your host family in the process. In China, an au pair will also help around, the house. They will also help with taking care of the kids and stuff like that. Sometimes the host family will even help the au pair to go into school and learn the Chinese language. However, this is a bit of a gray area, and I don't really recommend you coming to China to be an au pair, because at the end of the day, you're going to be receiving a salary, and that means that you are working. And if you're working, you need to have a work visa to do that. If your host family or if the agency who's getting you to be an au pair will only give you a business visa or a student visa, that's very, very tricky, because technically what you're doing is illegal. I would still encourage you to get a work visa so that you can properly work in China. Or if you do want to study in China, you can find scholarships. There are plenty of scholarships that allow you to go to university in China learning either the Chinese language, a master's degree, or even a bachelor's degree. The most difficult question I got from my last video is, what if I don't have enough money in my bank account, or my bank account is not old enough? There's a Chinese expression, may ban fa, which means no way, no method, and that's really the truth. You just really have to make sure that you have enough money in your account, or have someone sponsor you, or also you may just have to wait until the money matures in your account. And there is an update given to us by one of the commenters of the last video that there is a minimum requirement of 100K in your bank account. So we can follow that, like a general rule of thumb as to how much money you need to have in your account. Okay, now let's move on to the things that you need to prepare when you're coming to China. There are 4 kinds of applications that you need to download before coming to China. First is a good, reliable VPN. Second is Wechat. Third is Didi, which is the Uber of China. And fourth is Baidu Translate. First one, VPN, you will find a lot of different kinds of VPNs in your App Store or Play Store or whatnot. It's best to download different kinds because you don't know exactly what you're going to need in China. There are paid VPNs like NordVPN, ExpressVPN that have free 30-day trials, and if you're coming to China for just a few days, you can use that. But you're going to need a credit card to sign up, but you will not get charged until after the trial period. A good VPN is very important, specifically because social media and a lot of apps that we use are not usable in China, and it might be hard for you to get around. It might be hard for you to find the places that you need to go. If you need to Google them, for example, Google doesn't work in China, and you have to have VPN so that you'll be able to access those websites. Second is Wechat, and this is very important if you want to make sure that you keep in contact with your family in the Philippines. So I would also recommend that some emergency contacts or your family should have also WeChat on their phone so that you will be able to contact them. WeChat is never blocked in China, so you can always have a reliable means of contacting your family. Third app that you need to download is Didi, and that is the Uber of China. You need to download the English version of the app, or you need to change the language to English if the app that you downloaded is in Chinese. You don't need to know Chinese characters, you can just write it down in English. It takes a bit of time to get used to it and to, get used to finding your way around Didi, but it is very important, especially if maybe you get lost or you need to go somewhere really fast. Didi is a very reliable app, and most importantly, you can actually bind it to a credit card. If you're a foreigner, you can bind it to a credit card and you can use that to pay. So these are things that can help you if you're in an emergency situation, and I feel like this is very important, especially if it's your first time coming to China. Baidu Translate is very important because not only can you type down in English what you want to say and you can show it to the person that you want to talk to, you can also take a picture of something and like a menu, for example, or a street sign, and it will be able to tell you in English what the characters mean. There are very few English speakers in China, and all of the street signs, everything practically is in Chinese. I'm not saying that to scare you or to intimidate you, it's just a fact. That's how things work here in China. But I feel like this is something you can easily get used to, and this is something that is definitely not a big deal when you're traveling in China. The next thing is how to get around in China. And in every big city, there's going to be an extensive network of subways, an extensive network of buses, and it's going to be very easy to get from one point to the other. The only thing is, most likely you will have like connecting flights to get from point A to point B. What you need to have is a very reliable map app on your phone. Google Maps works if you have a VPN. Remember the VPN that we talked about? Or if you're an iPhone user, the Maps app on your phone is actually very effective. So on your Maps app, all you need to do is to put your location and your destination, and it's going to give you several routes for driving, if you're going to take a taxi, for example, or a Didi, or if you want to commute to get there. It will give you the subway stations, the exits, and even the bus stations, the bus numbers that you need to go to. It will also have some walking instructions to make your commute easier and more accurate. The next thing is, do I need to know how to speak Chinese? And the answer definitely is no. Communication is difficult, I'll give you that, but there are ways to get around it, such as using a translation app or just using basic common sense. But no, definitely you don't need to know how to speak Chinese. A few phrases here and there will be very helpful, but you will be able to get around here in China without any Chinese at all. So what else should you prepare when you come to China? If you ask me, I think you just need to prepare yourself. You need to understand that China is a different country and it does things in a different way. There's a huge difference in our cultures and a huge difference in how we do things. And the most important thing is that we adjust, we look around and do as the Romans do, as they say. Make sure that when you find yourself in a difficult situation, like you don't know where to go or maybe a little bit lost, you take control of the situation. Look at the tools that you have. You have a Maps app, you have a translation app. At the very least, you can just go to someone, write something down, and then ask them to read it. And they will be able to write it down for you as well and give you instructions on the translation app. Coming to China, being a tourist in China is no different as being a tourist in other countries. If you're lost, if you don't know where to go, you can always ask a policeman, or you can always ask a stranger, a friendly stranger, for directions or for some information. The only difference is you probably will need to talk via a translation app. Don't panic when you get lost or if you don't know what to do, because you're probably not the first nor the last tourist to be a little bit confused the first time you come to China. But what's important is that you take control of the situation, and I assure you that you will have a fun time here in China. So that's it, guys. If you have any more questions, please comment down below. Or if you like this video, if you found it helpful, then please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that little bell button so that you'll know when your tita in China will post a video next. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, 下次见.